Looking for a solid investment? Discover how tax defaulted properties can secure your financial future. Join me as I break down the unbeatable benefits.
Welcome, everybody. This is the Tax Lien Certificate and Tax Deed Authority, Ted Thomas. And today, Ted's going to be sharing 5 unbeatable reasons to invest in tax defaulted property. So, Ted, what is the number one reason why tax defaulted property is such an attractive investment?
Well, people love tax defaulted property. You know, life is full of alternatives. And when it comes to investments, well, there's all kinds of values and there's all kinds of controversy on value. Now, one of the common things that people say is one man's garbage is another man's gold. So I'm going to give you an example of that. And that really shows how these tax lien certificates and tax defaulted property really work. So let's elaborate on that phrase. All right. Ask yourself, if you could buy a slightly used and abused tax defaulted property for 20 or 30 cents on the dollar, you had no mortgage, no deed or trust, would that work for you? I'll bet it would. We live in a land of abundance, folks. From time to time, the property owners abandon property. Now, I know that you're not going to believe that people do that, but they reject the property tax bill. And if you reject paying the taxes, that's going to cause you to forfeit the property. So people do walk away from the property. So you're probably struggling when I say people will abandon good homes, good farms, good office building across America, but it's happening every day in your state, my state, and it's happening across the country. Now, these abandoned properties end up at tax defaulted property auctions. Okay, the local county needs money from the taxes. So what do they do with the money? Well, the local county has to pay the police department, the fire department, the school teachers. All right, how are they going to get the money if they don't collect the tax? So if they couldn't do that, what are they going to do is they're going to confiscate the property and they're going to resell it. Okay, they resell it for 10 or 20 cents on the dollar. What if you could buy a property that was worth much more than that for 20 or 30 cents on the dollar and sell it for 50 or 60 cents on the dollar? All right, so why is this business attractive? Here's the big reason. One man's garbage is another man's gold. How did that work out? Well, you'd have a massive profit if you bought at a tax defaulted price, 10 or 20 cents on the dollar, and it was worth $200,000 or $300,000. And that's what we're going to talk about on these videos. Perfectly good abandoned properties are selling for back taxes. These properties sometimes are worth $200,000, $300,000 and more. You could be buying one man's garbage and turning it into your gold.
Moving on to the second reason, what advantage does purchasing tax defaulted properties have over traditional real estate?
Well, traditional real estate, you don't know when you're going to get it. I got in the tax defaulted business for one reason only. Because I could plan with 3,000 counties across the United States, I could plan on getting tax defaulted properties at least once a year from every single county. Now, some counties will have 2 or 3 auctions a year, so there's over 5,000 of these auctions. So I have a big advantage if I can learn how to buy at these tax defaulted properties. Now look, these are used and abused. It's not shiny property, not new paint, not recent construction. Okay, no real estate broker standing there waiting for you to sign a contract. These are basically used and abused properties. Some of them need a lot of TLC, some of them need a little bit, but if you fix them up and you resell them, or you could just clean them up and resell them. All right, so it's best to buy it as low as possible. Make sure you have some margin and then sell it at close to market. There's going to be dozens of these properties. I shouldn't say dozens, there's going to be hundreds. All right, so if you're willing to work, and I know you are, most people are, if you're motivated to generate a portfolio of these properties where you could rent some of them, you could live in others, and you could sell others. Folks, if you can think outside the box and you're a problem solver, you're certainly in the right place. All right, this business requires no license from the state governor. Okay, you don't have to go to any special training. You just need informational programs. Learn how to do the system. Once you do it, you can do it in every county. There's over 3,000 counties to do this in across the United States.
Third reason, your ROI. Ted, what kind of returns can you expect to make when investing in tax defaulted property?
Well, you can make huge returns. You know, most of these properties are in known subdivisions. In other words, there's already 200 or 500 properties that are in a subdivision, and 1 or 2 of these are going to go to tax defaulted auction. So what you can do is you can figure out the pricing right away, and you're going to be able to make money right away. All right, the whole idea is to be able to buy the property at as low a price as possible. So it's a simple idea. Buy it low, then sell it below the market. So I say buy it low, sell it low. Try to make $25,000, even $50,000. You might have to do some minor maintenance. You're certainly going to have to clean it up, but it's a perfect side hustle.
For a fourth reason, in what ways can investing in tax defaulted properties generate long-term income?
This is a perfect business to develop long-term income because we're going to buy the property. We're going to buy it below the market. You see, the properties are sold by the tax collector below the market at 10, 20, 30 cents on the dollar. However, the market value would be much higher. So you can see by the way I'm holding my hand, there's a spread there. All right, now, you could sell the property for anything you want. So if it takes minor cleanup and minor paint and tidying up and whatever, and you resell it in the market, who's going to buy it? Well, thousands of people are looking for a bargain. Everybody wants to bargain real estate. So what we do is buy it below the market, okay, sell it below the market. Now, if you want long-term, why don't you sell it and use an installment sale? Thousands of people are rejected by the bank. Why? Because they get a poor credit score. All right, but they might have a good job and they might have two people working. If they can pay for it, well, why not sell it to them and get payments? So that means you could do the work once and you could get payments for 5 or 10 years by just using a contract of sale. Now, I don't know who you are and who's watching me. I don't know if you're an investor. I don't know if you're a speculator. I don't know if you're a trader. Most people get in the business, they're a trader. They buy it, they want to sell it quickly. All right, that's a person that's really a trader. They want to get it, do something with it, and sell it. But if you're an investor, you could buy it and then take installment sales, and you can make profits every year for 5 or 10 years on a tax defaulted property.
And finally, Ted, what's the fifth reason that investors should not overlook tax defaulted properties?
This is the biggest reason of all. The biggest reason is this. There's going to be a large volume. This is a business of abundance. Every county will have a tax defaulted auction. That means there's always going to be inventory available for you. All right, now, because we can use a computer and the counties have finally all come online, we can decide where to buy. It's not unusual for one of my students to live in Colorado and buy in New York. It's not unusual for me to live in Florida and buy in Seattle. All right, what if a person living in Texas and they want to buy in we can do all that. So the biggest reason is we have a massive amount of inventory. By that I mean there's going to be 2 million tax defaulted properties this year. All right, so you can find small properties, you can find rural lands, you can find grazing lands, you can find wooded lots, you can find office buildings. Folks, you can find properties in subdivisions. They're everywhere. Now, did I say it was easy street? No, but it's honest and ethical work. It requires that you research ahead of time and you figure out the profit. If I buy it for this and it's worth that, do I have enough money? Can I make money by selling below the market and do it quickly? In summary, this is a little known but highly lucrative business for those that know how.
Hey, if you have a question for Ted, his research team always monitors the comment section below. Leave your question there. They'll see it. They'll get it to Ted. You will get an answer. So head on down there, leave your question. You have it. And while you're down there, maybe even like this video and subscribe to Ted's channel. Ted, one last thing is, where do these auctions happen and when, and how do people figure out when and where these are happening?
Well, in the good old days, what we had to do is we had to go to the auction site, go to the county, ask them for a list, then go look at the properties. That's all changed. And the counties changed a little bit by sending newspapers to everybody, but with 3,000 counties, I don't think you want to get 3,000 newspapers, and I don't think you want to do 3,000 Google searches. So what we did is we created what we call a map. It will then show you all the auctions that are taking place in the next 60 days in that state. Everybody can do that. Just go right below me and you'll see a demonstration.
It's right below in the description, folks. Click it and take Ted up on his free offer.